Basketball fans, thanks for joining us. I am Tommy B of Rotoworld. I am joined by the legend, Dr. Ray, and Jared Johnson. We'll talk a little bit about sleeper teams, guys, not necessarily from a fantasy perspective, but just from teams heading into the season that you think will exceed expectations relative as they may be. Steve, what's one team you think is going to sneak up on some folks this year?
I think a lot of people don't think the Bulls have a very good team, but if you look at just position by position, talent-wise, Thomas Satoransky, I think, is an underrated point guard. Plus, they have Chris Dunn and Kobe White in the wings. So that's an interesting threesome at point guard. And a lot of people have Sato on their sleeper list for fantasy. So I think Ryan Canals drafted him in the draft we did on Rotoworld recently. Zach LaVine at shooting guard. I love Zach LaVine. He's an offensive force. He wants to play point guard. He wants to cut down his turnovers. He's got a lot of goals. And when he's healthy, man, he's as good of an offensive player as we've seen. So Otto Porter Jr. is one of those all-around guys, fantasy-friendly, does it all. Not a huge scorer, but a good player, like really solid player. Yeah. Lauri Markkanen, same thing. And Wendell Carter Jr., a lot of people think he's going to be a up-and-coming center this season if he can stay healthy. Right, Jared? Yeah. And then they got Thaddeus Young, who's used to starting, but he's going to be the veteran off the bench. I just think that looks like a good team to me.
Guys like Porter, Markkanen, Wendell Carter Jr. are some injury concerns there. But you're right. If those guys can stay healthy, and they're in the Eastern Conference with limited competition, they can make some noise. Jared, who you got?
I got the Pelicans, man. I think that they're going to be not only really fun to watch this year, but they're supremely talented and supremely deep. They have Drew Holiday, who has been talked up as a dark horse MVP candidate. I don't know how I feel about Lonzo Ball, but hey, this is his opportunity. If it's now or never for him. JJ Redick, Josh Hart, Alexander Walker. Then you got Brandon Ingram, each one more. I mean, this team is loaded. And then the Zion Williamson. I mean, I am super high on Zion. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. I'm super excited to watch him. Derek Favors was a great little signing. Jackson Hayes, I think he has a lot of potential. Maybe not this year, but just if you can give him some minutes off the bench, he's swatting shots, fun to watch. I just really like that team.
Even Okafor showed some signs of life late this season.
Yeah.
You know, was another big man down low.
And they were 33 and 49 last year. I think that they can definitely improve on that record, which is crazy because they lost Anthony Davis.
As far as the team that I have an eye on is to exceed expectations, the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, it kind of hinges on the health of Kristaps Porzingis. Not to remember, obviously he hasn't stepped foot on an NBA court in 20 months. But it's not only that. Before he tore his ACL, it was ankle injuries and knee injuries, and in fact, he was drafted in 2015. He's played one game in April in his entire NBA
That's
career.
crazy.
Porzingis. So we'll see if he can stay healthy. Remember, the last time we kind of saw the healthy version of the unicorn, the first month of that 2017-18 season, averaged 30 points, 7 rebounds, 2 3-pointers, 2 blocks, just a ton to like there. In addition to a healthy KP returning, we got DeLon Wright. I thought the Seth Curry addition was a really under-the-radar, solid addition, one of the most efficient shooters we have in the league today. Boban Marjanovic, always fun to get some minutes off the bench. So I think they could sneak up on some folks. Probably unrealistic to expect them to fight for that 8th seed in a very, very crowded and talented Western Conference. But I'm excited to see how they play, so it should be fun.